Welcome to our first deep dive in everything food. And in this episode, we are going to go deep down the rabbit hole of everything snack bars. Now, when it comes to snack bars, before we dive into this whole video, something I want you to think about, I'm not saying you have to eat snack bars. They are a processed food. However, a lot of times we get busy. It's an easy thing to put in the cubbyhole of your car, keep it in your handbag. If we need that little energy to get us through the day, it is a viable option. Food will always be the best, but at times, a good snack bar is a viable alternative. So let's start the snack bar showdown. I have 27 bars we're going to review today from a wide variety of sources. Now, how I'm going to structure this. I created a matrix that will be scored out of 70 total points. The first one being energy. Out of 10, how energy dense is this bar? Then, of course, protein. I'm a very big proponent of protein. Then it also comes to sugar. How much sugar is actually in this bar? The carbs to fat ratio. This is one that's a bit difficult to put a number on it because some bars are more carb heavy, some bars are more fat heavy. So this I'll score individually on each bar's composition, what they are actually going for. And of course, fiber. Fiber is very important, slows down the digestion. And then, of course, taste. How could we not put taste in there? Because isn't this something we eat? It still needs to taste nice for us to spend our money to buy it. The last one is overall value. If I take the nutritional value from it and what it actually costs, what is the value of this bar? Is it worth the money? Is it a bargain? Is it overpriced? And that will give us then the total out of 70. I personally don't eat a lot of these snack bars, so most of these bars is completely new for me today. Also, with each bar, I will put onto the screen all the information I have on that bar. I neatly put it into one sheet per bar, so it's easy for us to dissect what is actually happening here. The first one being Future Life Protein Crunch Chocolate Coated Bar. This bar is 40 grams. Now this Future Life High Energy one, the energy is 1,806 kilojoules per 100 gram. Most of the time I will start with 100 grams because if we look at the energy value and the nutritional value for 100 grams, it levels the playing field of all these bars. As remember, some of these bars are 40 grams, 48 grams, 47 grams, 50 grams, 68 grams. So it's difficult to just look at the label for the bar, but if we say per 100 grams, it levels that playing field. So in this bar, energy, 1,806. Protein, not bad actually, 20 grams per 100. Sugar, it's a bit high, 24.3 grams. Carbs, 35. Fat, 23. Fiber, 2.5, which is almost non-existent. So in this little bar, we are going to get 8 grams of protein, 9.7 grams of sugar, 14 grams of carb, 9.2 of fat, and 1 gram of fiber. So let's give it a score. Energy-wise, 1,806 kilojoules per 100 gram or 722 kilojoules per bar. It's not the best. It's also not the worst. It's kind of on the higher end. So energy-wise, I'll give it a 6. Protein at 20% of the bar, which means 8 grams of protein for this bar. 8 grams isn't too bad. It could be better, but it could also be a lot worse. So on the protein side, let's give it a 6. Sugar content, well, it does say 13% less sugar. Well, for this bar, it's 9.7 grams of sugar. Again, it's not the worst. It's not the best ever. I'll give it a 6. You will see I started with this bar because it's actually a nice starting field to see what the bars have that's coming on this list. Carbs and fat. This is not a bad ratio between the carbs and fat actually. For this bar, it's 14 grams of carbs and 9.2 grams of fat. What's nice sometimes, if we have a good mixture of this, it does slow down digestion, so it doesn't get digested as quickly. So it helps with that blood glucose spike. But also to be careful, if these bars are too high in fat, it adds a ton of energy. So for the carbs and fat, let's say 6.5. Fiber, 1 gram. I'll say that's a 4 out of 10. All of you are going to make me run extra far this afternoon to work off all these energy bars. I'm not going to eat all of them completely, by the way. Let's see. Nice little chocolate coated. You know what that makes me think of? Lunch bar. If you really enjoy a lunch bar, this tastes almost exactly like a lunch bar. Taste, I'll give that an 8. The price for this, I was actually quite surprised with. For $15.99, it's actually not a bad price for what this little bar has. Value-wise, I'll give it a 7. So that gave us a total score, 43.5. Next one, high protein choc crunch. I'm going to go faster from now on because I gave you the intro when we started with the first bar. Now we can start picking up the pace a bit. For 100, the energy on this, 1,403. Protein, 25 grams. Sugar is 21.4. Carbs is at 26. Fat is 12.9 grams per 100. And fiber, 3.1. Now, this is a bit of a bigger bar. This is actually a 50-gram bar, so it's bigger than the previous one. Now, this bar, being bigger, is only 702 calories. So this is already less energy per gram. Its protein is 12.5. So it's a lot higher protein than the previous one. Sugar, 10.7, a little bit more, but remember this bar is bigger. Carbs, 14, and fat, 6.5. In this bar, it's a bit more carbs with less fat, which again, isn't a bad thing. Fiber, again, 1.6, nothing really much there. So let's give it scoring. Energy-wise, 7.5. It's actually not too bad energy-wise. Protein-wise, 25% protein per bar. That is actually really good. So I'm going to give it there, also 7.5. Sugar, I'll say it's a 6.5. Now, coming to the carbs and fat ratio, I'll give it a 7. Fiber, it's a 4. Taste-wise, have a look there. Chocolate crunch. It's a nice chocolatey flavor with some nice crunchiness to it. I'll give it a 7 out of taste. Value, this is $24.99. So it is a bit more expensive than the previous bar. But if I had to have something and I'm in a rush, I would rather go for this than the previous one. Not a bad bar. So value-wise, I'll give it a 7.5. So that gives us a total score of 47. Now we're going to the Future Life High Protein Light Chocolate Crunch. So almost the same as the previous one, but this is the light version. Bar size, this is 40, not 50 as the previous one. Energy, 1,144 kilojoules per 100 gram. That is actually really good. A protein content of 23%, sugar 15.4, carbs 20, fat 10, and fiber 3.5. So for this little bar at 40 grams, you're looking at 459 kilojoules. That's actually really not bad. Protein, 9.2. Nice little small package. Almost 10 grams of protein. Sugar, 6.2. Carbs, 8 gram. Fat, 4.2. And fiber of 1.4. Now, at energy-wise, I will give this one an 8.5. This is actually really not bad amount of energy what you get here. Protein, 23%. It's not bad. I'll give it a 7.5. Sugar, 15% is a lot less than 20. So you know what? I'll give it a 7 on the sugar. Carbs and fat, I actually like this ratio of a 2:1. I'll give it an 8. Fiber, yet again, almost non-existent. So let's give that a 4. Same bar-like. It's softer. So the crunch stands out more. Not as sweet. A lot more chocolatey flavor, more bitterness from that chocolate. You know what? It's not too bad. It tastes light in the sense you can taste it's something they're trying to make healthier. Still a nice taste. Taste, I'll give it a 7. Value for $22.99. So this one's actually a bit cheaper than this one. Value, I'll give it an 8. For this little package, it's not bad. So, the Future Life High Protein Light Choc Crunch, we get a score of 50. Next one, Future Life Smart Oats Energy Bar, the peanut butter chocolate version. Just something to keep in mind, when we get to the more oats bars, remember they're going to be more carb heavy. For this 100 gram, energy is 1677, still not bad. Protein is 11%, sugar 18.3 grams, carbs 41, fat 18.9, and fiber 7.2. Also, generally go to the oats, the fiber does go up a little bit. This little bar, however, is only 38 grams. So let's get to the rating. For this little bar, energy-wise, 637 kilojoules. Still not bad. I'll give it a 7. Protein, 4.1 grams in this little bar. So protein, I'll give it a 5. Sugar content of 7. It's more sugar in here than protein. You know what? I'll give it a 6. Carbs and fat ratio, so I'll give that an 8 for the ratio that's in here. Remember, this is a small package. Fiber, 2.7. It's a bit better, so let's just give it a 5. Then it comes to, that's what it looks like. Chocolate on the back, oats on the front. Crunchy. Tastes like oats. Nothing spectacular. It's okay. It is what it is. Taste, I'll give it a 6. Value, I'll give it a 6. So, the Future Life Smart Oats Energy Bar, Peanut Butter Chocolate, total score of 43. Future Life Crunch Granola Bar, Chocolate Bits. Remember, this is now a granola bar, so the energy is going to go up quite a lot. This little bar per 100 grams, 2,106 kilojoules. That's almost double compared to this little one. Now, protein, almost like all other oat bars, around 7%. Sugar, almost 24% of this bar. Carbs, 67 grams per 100. Fat, 11 per 100. And fiber, 6 per 100. 40 grams. Energy, 842. That's quite high. So energy-wise, I will give it a 4.5. That is quite high energy-wise. Remember, energy is important. If you want to lose weight and we're munching on these things, it's going to make it hard. Protein, give that a 4. Sugar, I'll give it a 5.5. Carbs and fat ratio, I'll give it a 5.5. Fiber, I'll give it a 5. Then we get to the taste. Looking like that, 20 grams for each. Not bad. Quite nice. I actually enjoy that. I'll give that a 7 on the taste. Value, price, $13.99. But value-wise, I don't see why a lot of people need to buy this, a specific one. The protein ones are a lot better. I'll give it a 5. So that brings us, the Future Life Crunch Granola Bar, to a total score of 36.5. I just quickly want to bring your attention to something. If you're an endurance athlete, you run a lot, and you need a lot of energy, this is where these things can be beneficial. On my long runs, I will go for the high energy, high carb things. They do serve a purpose there. But remember, most of us don't run marathons every single day. Most people buy this, sitting at their desk and eating it. So no, not the best choice. There's one more Future Bar left. The Future Life Beauty Food Vanilla. For 100 grams, 1,563 kilojoules. Protein, 26.9. It's almost 27% protein. That's not bad. Sugar 8, nice and low. Carbs 14, fat 14, a 1-to-1 ratio. Fiber 3.8. Size is 40. So let's score it. Energy for this little bar, you know, it's actually not bad. A 7.5. Protein, 10.8. I'll give this one our first 8 out of 10. Sugar, nice and low. I'll give it a 8. Carbs and fat, I'll give it an 8 for that. Fiber, 1.5, yet again, very low in fiber. Let's give it a 4.5 for what it is. Taste, dark, chocolatey coated. Now after that, if that's what beauty tastes like, shame. Not a lot of flavor. It tastes like a diet kind of bar. Not a beauty bar. Not the greatest taste. I'll give it a 4. Value-wise, for what it is, what's in this bar, if you don't mind what it tastes like, it's actually not bad. I'll give it for the value a 7. The Future Life Beauty Food Vanilla Bar gets a score of 47. Next up, USN. USN Energy Oats Double Chocolate. Let's see if we can go faster with this. Per 100, we're looking at energy of 1,604. Protein 7.8. Remember, it's oats bar, so the protein will be lower. Sugar 33.5. That's quite a steep one. Carbs 60. Yet again, it's oats. Keep that in mind. Fat 12. Fiber 5.5. Now, it is a small bar. It's only 35 grams. Let the scoring begin. Energy-wise, it's not bad. I'll give it a 7. Protein, I'll give it a 4. Sugar, 11.7 grams for this bar. That is 30% of this whole bar. A third of this bar is just sugar. I'll give it a 5.5. Carbs and fat, massive difference between the carbs and fat. This is a very high carb bar. If you need quick energy, that's where you go. Not so high in fat. I'll give it a 5.5. Fiber, 1.9. I would have expected a bit more. I'll give it a 4.5. Taste, I don't know, it's quite small actually. That's what it looks like. Soft, a bit of crunch, a nice cocoa flavor to it. Nothing to write home about. Taste, I'll give it a 5.5. Value, I'll give it a 6. Total score of 38.